Hi, hi Pavani. Good morning. Let's wait for 5 minutes. Okay. So we will wait for your friends to join the class, and after that we will start the class. Okay. So we'll see how many members join, and after that we will start the class. Okay. I think you didn't join yesterday. I don't know whether you are listening to the classes, but if you have any doubts regarding anything from the first class to yesterday's class, you can unmute yourself and you can ask me, or you can anybody. Okay, you can ask your question in the chat box also, and please inform to your friends to join the class. And let me text in the group also. Hey, good morning, Mohana. Let's wait for 5 minutes, okay? So we'll start. We'll wait for 5 minutes to friends to join. Then we'll start the class. Okay, guys, I think nobody is gonna join the class. We will start the class, okay? So let me share my screen. And yesterday we discussed about the for loops, right? So we started with the for loop and while loop, I think, and we left it with the do while and a for each loop. Okay, so today I will go with the do while and for each loop, and I will go more on the today class we'll go with the JSP more. Okay, so daily we are taking only some time like half an hour or 25 minutes of the JSP, but today I will take more time on that, like till now what we discussed, like a form and redirecting and validating by using today we'll discuss about the session management also in the JSP. Okay, so we'll do more on the JSP pages on the today class. But before we today we'll complete the do while loop and also the for each loop, and we'll do some small example on that, and we complete our classes. Okay, so let me share my screen and my screen. Okay, is my screen visible, right? Yeah. Then okay, where yesterday we are done with the while loop. Okay, so now today we will discuss about the do while loop. Okay, why we use loops actually? Okay, when you want to repeat the same code number of times. Okay, when you want to repeat the same code in the number of times in programming, so loops help us to repeat the code until the condition is met. Okay, we'll give one condition until the condition fails. Okay, till the condition is met. Okay, whatever the condition you're giving, that has to be met. So till then the code will be executed. So here we have it four different types of loop. So we yesterday completed for loops and while loop. Okay, so when you know the how many times you want to repeat the code, we will use a for loop. So when you don't know how many times of iterations but you know how to keep the conditions, so it is basically depends on the condition, so then you can use a while loop. So here also we will initialize a value outside the while loop, and here we give the condition inside the value, we will increment the value. Okay, so yesterday we saw the examples on that also. Now, okay, let me check with the examples and the for loop, right? So here first we need to initialize the value, and here you need to keep the condition. So how many times you want to repeat, so you need to place that condition, and here incrementing or decrementing the value. So whatever the value you have initialized in the first section, you need to increment or decrement the value to loop this conditional statements, or you writing the code, right? So how many times you have to repeat that code, you need to write it here. Okay, so now we'll go with the do while loop. Okay, now we'll go with the do while loop. So till now if you have any questions, you can ping in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask me in the middle of the session also. Okay, so if you face any issues, if you didn't understand anything, just unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, so this is yesterday I think JSP classes, so let me change the perspective into the Java. So here we can change directly also. Okay, so here without opening perspective you can directly go into this and change that. Okay, so now this is our Java project, right? So in the basic theory, we created switch conditions, unary operations, what is it? Loop examples, right? Where we have written yesterday, man. Assignment operator, condition operator, example, I think, yeah. So this is a while loop we have done yesterday, and this is a for loop. Okay. So initialize the value and given the condition and decrement the condition. So I done it with both the incrementing and decrementing, and here given 0 and check the condition till the 5. Okay, I done with the two ways. Okay, you also just try like that and just use the try run to how it's working and what is happening while each iterations. Okay, so by that you can know what is happening exactly in the for loop and the while loop. Okay, so now let me create another. Before that, let me go to the, and today we are going to discuss about the do while loop. Okay, so in the name itself it also have the loop. Okay, so what is actually do while loop? So it will execute the block. Okay, it is also have one block, but here we will give the condition at the end. After executing the code, we will check the condition. If the condition is met, again we will run the code and again it will check the condition. So basically the syntax of the do while loop is the same as a while condition, but here we use a do keyword, and inside that we will use the statements of the code. Okay, so here we will write the code, and after executing the code, here we will check the condition. Okay, in the while we give the condition. Okay, so what happens, it will execute a block at least once, even if the condition is false. Okay, if the condition is false also, it will execute once, because it will run from starting, right? So it will check it will not check any condition before going into the executing the code, but it will execute the code. After that only it will check the condition. So that is the reason it will execute even the condition is false. Okay, that is the reason even if the condition is false. So this is a basic syntax where we use do keyword and flower brackets, and inside that we'll write the code, and then we will write the while and the condition. So whenever you want to execute even one time, okay, when you want something to print at least one time after checking the condition, then it has to be decide whether it has to run or not run. Okay, so we'll do one example on the do while loop, so you will get better exam, like a better understanding of that. Let me create one class here. Basic theory new class. Okay, so it is enough loops, loop statements, and let me select my public static void main, which is main method, right? So now what we will do, we will do one thing. uh we'll do one calculator sum. Okay, so we'll give 1 2 3 to him, like, okay, so we will print him like add, subtract, and exit like thing. Okay, so basically one calculated thing, we will ask the user to enter his choice and everything like that. And for the first time we will give all the choices, and we will give him to some addition or subtraction like that. Okay, so then we'll check the condition. If if he given the 3, okay, so the program will be ended. So just like that, let me do one example. uh, what we can do is here, so to take the input from the user, so what we need to do, we need to import the scanner class, right? So import java dot util dot scanner. Okay, java dot util dot scanner. So now here, uh okay, need to create the object first. Okay, let me create the object for the scanner class to take the input from the user. So I'm taking the object scanner system dot in. Okay, scanner system dot in. Now I have to write the do while loop. So inside the do while loop, here I'm writing the do, and here I'm writing the while. Okay, the condition I will write later. Write the later on the condition. So now when I come to the do while loop, after creating the object of the scanner class, I want to show, or I want to display to the user what we want to print or what we want to do in this program, right? So I have to use the output statement, which is nothing but a system.out.println. So here what we will do, we'll give one as an addition. So if you select the 1, we will do the addition. If we select the 2, we'll do the subtract. Okay, and if we enter the 3, so we are just displaying the numbers to what the operation you want. Okay, what operation do you want? So before that, it will, let me do this also, system dot out dot println. Okay, so your choose your choice. Okay, just I'm saying him to choose your choice to add or subtract or exit. Okay, so here he will enter the numbers, right? So here this is first one, second one, third one, right? Like that, right? So let me do integer choice equals to. So by using the scanner object only, right, we will take the input from the user. So now sc dot next int, sc dot next int. Okay, so whatever the number he will enter, it will be stored in the int choice. Okay, it will be stored in the int choice. Now, so whatever the choice he entered, based on that I want to print addition or subtraction, like that. So I here we use the if condition. Okay, if condition which we use, and here I will give the condition if choice is equals to 1, if the choice is equal to 7, so let me just print it out as addition. Okay, so no need to go with the entire addition. Okay, so here addition. Okay, so just I will print it out as a addition if we choose the choice as a 1, if we choose a choice as a 1, else. Okay, else if, okay, you know, right, if else if ladder. So here again I am giving the condition as, if we choose a choice, if we choose a choice as a 2, what we need to print, we need to print as a subtraction, right? So let me print it as subtraction, subtraction. Now if we either didn't enter 1 or 2 or 3, okay, so now in the while condition, okay, in the while condition, what I will say, if the choice is not equals to 3, if the choice is not equals to 3, okay, so first it will iterate here. Okay, oh sorry, why it's getting error means inside the do while loop we are declaring the choice. Okay, so basically this is a local variable, so I will declare that in the global, so it will, now it will go there. Okay, so integer choice. Okay, integer choice. So what basically it happens means, so inside this flower brackets only this choice will work when you initialize that variable. So when I'm using the while condition, it giving me error. Okay, so before the flower brackets I'm just declaring that integer choice, and that choice I'm using here, and also I can here. Okay, there is a topic called local and global variables. Okay, so I will discuss that also in the today's class, so we'll come with that also. Okay, so now first it will run this program, right? So for the first time it will run, it will print it out this, and it will print out this. Okay, so now when I enter number as a 3, okay, when I enter number as a 3, it will check this condition. Okay, it will again check this condition if there is no two conditions, and here it will come while, okay, while choice is not equals to 3, but my choice is 3, right? So when you have chosen 3, it will not run this program. Okay, it will not run this program because the condition satisfies, if the condition satisfies only, it will run the program. But here the choice is 3 and it is not equals to 3. Okay, and it is not equals to 3, this is a not equals to symbol, right? Okay guys, so when you discuss about the operators, we discuss their equals to not equals to, it checks whether the choice value and the given value is are not equals. But here I am selecting the 3, so it's not equal, so it will not execute, but it executes one time. Okay, it executes a one time. So imagine, like, think when you are going in any application you are going through, there suddenly you get one pop-up, right? So one pop-up, so there you don't need, there is no need to enter anything for you. Okay, there is no use for you. So what you do, you simply click on the times font awesome, right? So which is nothing but a cross symbol. So you see, simply click on that. But here also, without useful to you, but one, at least once this will be printed, this will be executed. So you don't need, then you will execute the 3. Okay, then you will select the choice as a 3. So when you select the choice as a 3, it will not go into this do while loop, so it will execute as the program ends. It will execute as a program ends. Okay, understand, right? So what I am explaining, okay, see, let me run this first. Okay, so I have saved it, right? So let me run this, run as Java application. See, without any my interaction, okay, without my any interaction, it's directly get into this do while loop. Okay, because it is not checking any conditions or anything, it will directly execute this loop. Okay, so it executing, then what it's asking, it is asking me to choose your choice. Now what I will do, I will select the two value. Okay, so what it's asking, it asking I have choose the second value, so it printing this subtraction. Okay, it printing as a subtraction, and after the completion of executing code, it is checking the condition what I have given. whatever the choice you have selected which is not equals to 3, then you can execute this once again. But if the choice is not equals to 3, you can execute this, but if it is equals to 3, you have to come out of the loop. Okay, so here, see, I have, so once again, let me choose what I choose here. I have choose 2. So it will come here and it printing this, and here it will check as 2 is not equals to 2 is not equals to 3, so which satisfies the condition. Again it asking me to choose your choice. Now what I will do, I will select the 3. Okay, here what I will do, I will select the 3. Okay, so now what happens, it's saying as a program ends. Now here I selected the 3 and it will not printing anything because the condition fails. And here while choice equals to, what is my choice, my choice is 3, which is not equals to 3, which is basically not equals to, sorry, which is actually equals to, okay, 3 is equals to 3. 3 is not equals to 3, right? So I'm just confusing. So 3 is basically not equals to 3. So that is the reason here it is false. Okay, here the it getting the output as a false because 3 and 3 is equal. Okay, so it is not equals to 3. We are giving the condition is not equals to 3. So it is not satisfies this condition. So it will come out of the loop and it will print the program ends. Okay, so this is how we have to use the do while loop. Okay, this is how we have to use a do while loop. Okay guys, if you didn't understand you can ask me. Okay, so that is a usage of do while loop. At least once even the condition fails, the whatever the code we have written in the do loop, okay, it will be printed. Okay, now we will go with the for each loop. Okay, basically the for each loop, so okay, let me write it here. Do while loop, what is actually do while loop? And so do while loop will execute the block, executes the block at least once. Okay, at least once, which means even if the condition false, even if the condition is false also, the code will be executed once. Okay, so that is a definition of the do while loop, and this is a syntax. Okay, now we'll go with the for each loop. Basically the for each loop is an advanced version, but where when it comes to the collections, okay, like arrays, and you have the collections like a list and a hash map like that. Okay, so there you will get to know what is actually happen, but I will explain now, but I will also again explain in the topic of when we go on, when we come to the collections and arrays also. Okay, so now let me tell you the for each. Okay, then only you can know when we discussing about the in the arrays, we will get easy. Okay, so for each loop, so for each loop is basically it's an simplifies the iterating over in a collection. Yesterday we done with the in our JSP program. Okay, I just used a for each loop. I used arrays to get the names from the forms, and I just iterated through that. So just like that, the for each loop is it simplifies iterating over arrays or a collections, which means in the collection is nothing but a container. In the container I have certain number of files or certain number of names. Okay, just think like that. Okay, I want each name into one variable and I just want to print it out. So just like that, yesterday I just taken the names, and for each name I just printed like 1 2 3 4 like that. Okay, so when you want to iterate through the collections or arrays, okay, collections is nothing but a collections of the data. Okay, there you want to iterate through each one of the data, you have to use a for each loop. Okay, so now here it simplifies iterating over arrays or collection. Okay, arrays or collection. collections. So here there is no index required, or just element by element. Okay, so in the for loop, okay, we just initialize the indexing, right? So integer I equal to 0, from where I have to start, from where I need to stop. Okay, there they have everything, but here there is no need of any indexes. Okay, no index is required. Okay, no index is required, but till the element is present in the collection. Okay, if I have 10, it will iterate through the 10 elements. Okay, so it's iterate through the element by element. So it just need element by element. Okay, so it just go through the each element by element in the collections or in the arrays. Okay, so the basic syntax here, it will be it depends on the data type what you are using in that collection. Okay, so here the same keyword for, okay, the same keyword you need to use that as for, and in the for, okay, in the for you need to give the data type of what type of a collection you are using. Okay, if you are using an array, you need to give the string array. If you are using an array, what data type, whether it is an integer array or either is a string array, you need to give the data type here, and the variable you want to take. This is a variable, so you can take anything. I have taken the scanner object sc, right? So that is a variable. So here also you can take anything. So from which collection you want to iterate through it. Okay, I'm just saying like array. Okay, I'm just given one array, and from this array, for each element I need to pass into this variable, and I need to print it out. Okay, I need to print it out, or I need to use that variable here. Okay, so whatever the variable is passing into this variable, here I can use in my loop. Okay, so basically that is the use of the for each loop. You want to use a, like in the array you have, let me explain it here. I have an array here. Okay, just assume like that. In this array I have, okay, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Okay, so if first the one value will come into this variable and it will print it out here. Okay, the next second value will become here and it will iterate. So it will iterate through the entire array. Okay, it will iterate through the entire array, element by element. Okay, it will come by element by element. Okay, yesterday we, in my JSP, we done with the student name, right? So we'll do that same here itself. So I will show you here. Let me, okay, let me create one more class here, new class, and for each, right, each loop statement and public static void main finish. So now don't worry about the array, what is actually array, but it's just a collection of the data types, collection of the data. Okay, just imagine like that. So now I am taking the type, I am taking the data type, what type of array I'm storing. Okay, so here I'm using a string array. So I'm just giving the variable name as a students. Okay, as a students, and I am declaring one variable here. So imagine like Ravi is one of the student. Okay, Ravi is one of the student, and Priya, okay, Radha, and Shashi. Okay, so these are the students I have. I want to print, okay, I want to print each student name. Okay, whoever are students present in my school, whoever present in my institute or something somewhere else, I want to print it out, each one of him. Okay, when I want to print each one of them, what I need to do, here I have a collection of a data which are nothing but the students. I want to print each one of him. So what is the syntax for the for each loop? What is the syntax for the for each loop? So first we need to write the data type of what you are using. So what is a data type here? The string is a data type. Okay, the string is a data type. So here I have to write it as string. Okay, I need to write the string first data type, and next what we need to do, what is there here? Data type is there, so I given the string. So next, this is a variable. So whatever the variable you want to take, you can take. If you want to take the name, okay, I will take the name. I taken the variable. So from where, this is an array, collection or an array. Okay, so here I use the array itself. So I'm using the data. Where is the collection actually in the students, right? So I have to use that students here. Okay, understand it? So this is a data type. This is a data type, and this is a variable, and this is a students, which means a collection, which is array. Now I want to print out each one of them. So here in the students, from each element, it will come to the name and it will store it in the name for the each iteration. Okay, let me print it out like this: system dot out dot print ln of, okay, what is the student name? Student is, okay, so where it will be the name? In this name variable, I will use that name variable here. Okay, I will use this name variable here. Now let's see, let's run this program. Run as Java application. See, for every record present in this collection, it is printing separately. Student name is Ravi, student name is Priya, student name is Radha, Shashi, Patri. Till it has entire, if you have more number of names, okay, if you have more number of names like this, okay, you just simply save this and print this. See, it's printing till my last element which is present as we know. Okay, so it's printing till my last element present in my data structure. Okay, so this is where we use for each loop. So where you want to iterate the collections or arrays, you will use the for each loop. So it's basically small syntax. Okay, it's also an advanced version for loop. So it was introduced in the Java 5 basically. So it's also called as an enhanced loop. So it's basically best for the arrays and collection. Mostly we use in the arrays and the collections only. So it is mostly simpler, and it is also much cleaner than for for initialization condition loop we have, right, for loop. So it is better than for each for loop. So mostly avoids the index errors. Okay, we will get the indexing out of bound, some errors. So it will avoids those errors. So we cannot modify the elements directly, but we can get the object from these references. So this is a basic syntax. You can use the collections or the arrays here. So here, whatever the variable you are giving that name, you can use that name inside the loop variable. Okay, so and we can do one more thing also, like when you want to sum your total marks. Okay, you will give your total marks in all your subjects, and you want to get the total of your marks. Okay, what you do, you will get the every marks here, and you will add the every marks here itself. Okay, so just like that you can use for anywhere. In the arrays, we'll use in the 2D arrays. Okay, when you want to print it out, each column and each row, right? So we'll use that also. In the collections also, like array list we have, like in the upcoming classes I will explain about the array list and everything. Now we will discuss about the scope. Okay, scope is nothing but the availability of the variable or a method in a class. Okay, so I just shown you in the previous example, right? Like integer choice equals to, I have written outside the loop. Okay, this is the one loop, and I have declared integer choice out of the loop. Okay, this is a global variable. When you declare inside the block, it will become the local variable. So from where the variable as accessible, so that is known as a scope. So I didn't explain about that in the earlier classes, so I want to include that here now. The scope is nothing but where mm, where in the program that variable is visible or accessible. Okay, from where the variable is accessible. So when you have declared the variable inside the block or outside the block, okay, so block level, block level is known as a local variables. Okay, so method level known as a local variables. Okay, we have instance scopes, object and instance variables. Okay, class scope. So when you declare inside the class, those we call it as static variables are the class scopes. So these are all comes under the scopes. Okay, so we have different types of loops, scopes, but let me explain one basic one, which is nothing but a block scope. Okay, block scope. So it's, we call it as a local variables also, local variables. uh, so when you declare a method or a constructors or a variables inside, declare inside the methods. Okay, so we call it as a local variables. So when you declare a variable inside a method, inside a method or a constructor, okay, or a constructor or a blocks, block of a code. Block is nothing but this is a block. So when you declared inside the block, it will become as a block scope, which means the local scopes. It will exist only in that loop itself. Okay, in that block itself exists only while that block is running. So when that particular block is running, then only it will exist. Okay, so it cannot access outside the block, cannot access outside of the block. The best example we have done here in the do while loop, see, this is one block. Okay, this is one block. When I declare that integer choice here, when I declare, remove this. Okay, when I declare inside this block, here see the choice is giving me the error. Okay, here choice is giving me the error because it is accessible till this block itself. Okay, it cannot access outside of this block, so it's giving me the error. When I declare that outside the block, it is not giving me error. Okay, it's not giving me any error. So that is known as a global, and this is a local example. Okay, so let me do in the new class itself. I will give you the best example then for you. Scope of variables, public static void name, and finish. Okay, so now see here, I will take integer x equals to 10. Okay, I've taken integer x equals to 10. And let me use one condition. If x is greater than 5. Okay, imagine like if x is greater than y. Inside this loop, I am declaring integer y equals to 20 or 20 or something, 29. Okay, now here I want to print it out. Sys system dot out dot print ln of inside if block, right? We are inside if block y. Okay, inside the if block y. Now here, when I try to access that local variable outside the block, which means outside if plus, I think it will give the compile error also. See, when I run this, see, it is showing me the error. Expected exception in the thread, unresolved compilation error. See, y cannot be resolved to the variable because I declared that variable inside the block, so it is accessible inside that block itself. Okay, inside that block itself, it will not access outside the block. See, now it will show, sorry, I have to save this and run this. See, inside if 20 I can access inside the block itself. So temporary calculations, like when you want to create a temporary calculation inside any block, okay, inside any loop, so we use local variables mostly. Okay, and in the method scope also we can call Okay, when we dealing with the functions, okay, in the upcoming classes we'll deal with the functions. So when you declare that variable inside that function also, it is also call it as a local variables. So variables which are declared inside the method are known, are a local to that method itself. Okay, so you cannot use them in the another method. So when we dealing with the functions and the methods, I will explain you there. Okay, just same like this. Okay, inside the, imagine this is one method. Okay, in that method you are declaring that variable, so you can use that in that method itself. You can't use in the outside of this method. Okay, so another, we have an instance scope. Okay, this is in a block scope, and in the second we have the method scope. Method scope, so that is actually used inside the scope method itself. So variables declared inside a method, inside a methods are local to that method itself. To that method itself, they can use within that method only. And we have instance method. Okay, so instance scope, so instance scope is declared inside the class but outside the methods. Okay, so which means variables declared inside the class but outside of the methods, which means it can accessible by all non-starting methods of the class. That is also one of the point here. See, this is one class. Okay, this is one class, but this is one method. Imagine, let me create one method. You don't know what is method, but let me create that method here. Static. Okay, void some student method. Okay, so imagine this is a student. Okay, this is one method. Okay, so here let me declare integer z equals to 10. Integer z equal to 10. So this is also local, but it is available to this method itself. Okay, it is available to this method itself. But here, what I'm saying is instance variables. Instance variables are integer x, integer yes, or integer age, or integer some string name. So this is declaring inside the class. Okay, inside the class but outside the method. I am declaring one variable which is outside the method but it is inside the class. So this is known as an instance scope. Okay, this is known as an object variables, or we can call it as a instance variables. So when we declare them outside the method but inside the class, so this can be accessed by non-static methods. So here I can access that method, age equals to some 21. Okay, so it's not showing me the error because it is not a static method. But here when I use age equals to some 34, okay, so what it's saying, it giving me the error because it is in a static method. It can be accessible by all non-static methods only in the class. In whatever the class it has non-static, then they can only use the instance variables. They cannot use in the static methods. This is known as a static or instant variables. Okay, so and we have the class variables also. Okay, this is an instance scope which is known as a instance variables. Instance variables, so which we declared inside the class. This is a method variables, method variable, and we have the class variable also. Okay, class variable. So here the what is a class variable? The class variable is declared with the static keyword. Okay, here we will declare the variable, we will declare the variable with the static keyword, with the static keyword. So it will belongs to the class, so it's not belongs to any object. Okay, it will be shared by the all the objects. So which means here this is my class, right? So when you are declaring the class variable, you have to declare it with static string. Let me declare my name. Okay, so this is known as a class variable. This is known as a class variable. So this is known as a instance variable. Okay, so there is a difference, right? So here I'm directly giving the data type, but here I'm using the static keyword. So when you use a static keyword, that turns into a static variables, or we can call it as a class variables. Okay, so there is a different types of variables. So these are all the different types of a variables. Okay, and in the loops also we can declare the variables. Like in the for loop we given in the initialization, right? So integer I equal to 0. So those we call it as a loop variables. So when you declare the variables inside the loop, okay, so it will valid till execution of that loop itself. So we call it as a loop variables. Okay, so that's enough for the today's. Okay, this is about the scopes and the variables of from where to where the scopes will be works. Okay, so take the 2 minutes of the break and we will start the JSP. Okay, if not, if you have any doubts regarding anything, you can ask me. Okay. Okay, take 2 minutes of break and I will start with the JSP now. Okay, guys, come back. Let's start the JSP. Okay, so understand, right? What is the scope and for each and do while loop, right? So let me change my perspective into the Java double E. Change, and one second before going into that, let me stop my previous one. So stop it. Okay. Go to our page, and this is our JSP project, right? So open the and right click on that, run as, run on server, Tomcat server, finish, and just running my project. Okay, So where is, okay, this is our project, right? So yesterday we done with the student form, I think so. So when we click on the student form, we are taking the student names like Radha, Raju. Okay, so when I submit, I am just getting all my names into one array and just printing one by one names. Okay, so for that we have done with the student login forms and student forms. Basically, where is that student form? Here, right? So we just took the student form and given the same name to the all the inputs. So I just given the action to display student, so where I have to process the data. So here I retrieved that by using request.get parameter values, because I given the same names for the 5 inputs. So for that reason I just used the values for. But when you given only one name to the one input form, just we use only request dot get parameter and the name of that. Okay, so but here I have number of values I want to take, so I just use the string array to the students. And same today we discussed, right, for each. So here I given the data type and yes and the students. So whatever the variable I have students is, I just list it out in that to the client. Okay, so this is how we done yesterday. Now today we will just use the session management. What is actually session management? And we'll do with the login form itself. Okay, so here in the welcome we already have the login, right? So what we'll do is okay, so let me create one new in the welcome file. Let me take one link here. Mm, advanced login. Okay, so here let me create one file name hrefs. Okay, I want to navigate when I click on the advanced login, and I need to navigate to the advanced login page, right? So I'm just using that advanced login.jsp page. So now what we need to do, we need to create this page. You can create first page and you can give the file address here, or you can give the advanced login page. So here what we need to do, we need to take one form. Okay, so before that I need to place the header also. Yesterday I discussed about this header tag as at the rate include file equals to header.jsp. Okay, header.jsp. So which means in the header file I have some code, I want to include that file in my advanced login. So this is known as a static, okay, static inclusion. Yesterday I explained about that, right? So we will include the certain code by using the include. Okay, so reduce the duplications. Okay, so that is how we done in the yesterday's class, which is nothing but dynamic including of the code. Okay, so now what I want to do, first I want to include it. So first I have to use a scriptlet and at the rate and include keyword and give the file address. Okay, what is the file address? Header.jsp. And I want to include the footer also. I want to include the footer also. Same include file and the footer. I think F is small. Footer.jsp page. Okay. After that, what I want to create the advanced login page heading. Advanced login page. Okay, now for login page what we need to do, we need to take the username and the password, right? To take the input from the user, what we have to take, we need to take the form. Okay, I am taking the form. Now inside the form we have a two attributes. One is action and one is method. You already know why we use action, why we use the method. Okay, so inside the form let me take the user name. Let me take the username, and to take that username we have to give the input, and the type of that input is text. Let me take it as a text, and let me take the username as a uname. Okay, and I want to compulsory they need to enter the data in that input file, so I'm using required field. So let me take the two brackets, and after that let me take the password. So here this is a method. Okay, password. So for that let me take the input tag, and we have a type of a password, right? So we have to use the type of the password, and let me give the name as a pwd and a required field. Okay, so let me end this and break, use the break tags. Now to submit this username and password, I need to give the submit button, right? So let me take the one more input and the type as a submit. Okay, submit, and let me give the value for this as a login. We give the value for this login. You know why I given the value as a login? Because if you didn't give any value, it will take that as a submit button. But now I given the login, that button the whatever the text on that button, it will come whatever given the value, so which is login button. So now here the client or the user will give the data. So to process the data we need another file, right? So let me give the action. So let me create one file here before that. Okay, let me create advanced login. Okay, whatever the login process. Okay, I just created one file, admin login process. Let me copy this file address and give in the advanced login action page. Okay, advanced login process JSP. So when the user enter the data and submit the button, the data will be processed in the advanced login process, which means here. Okay, which means here. So here what how I can retrieve the data by using the scriptlet tags. Inside scriptlet tags, we have given the names to that input tags, right? So by using the request.get parameter, we can retrieve the username and we can retrieve the password also. So first username, let me give the username equals to request dot get parameter, only parameter, not the parameter values. So when you are dealing with the number of inputs with the same names, you can get the request dot get parameter values, but I am dealing with only single parameter, so I am using request dot get parameter and give the name what I have given in the input. So in the input I have given the username as a name, so I just taken that name here in the username. Now the password string pwd equals to request dot get parameter of the name what I have given pwd. Okay, so that is the reason I have taken pwd. So by the default values, let me check it as if admin dot equals ignore case. Okay, it will check a comparison between the two values. If the admin is equals to the username what he has entered, and logical and which is used to compare the, like combine the two values. Okay, and the password is equals to 123. Let me think it as my password is 123, which is equals to the user entered data. Okay, so if the both username and password is equals, okay, if the username and password is equals, I need to redirect him to the same welcome page. Okay, same welcome page. Here this is my welcome page, right? So I need to send them to that welcome page. So on that day we, how we done that, see in this registration or login page number 3. So what we have done, see this is a login process. So here we just given by using the expression tag and login successful, we given the message there. Okay, we just given that name and displayed that name. But here what we will do, we will redirect him to the welcome page. Okay, we will redirect him to the welcome page. In the login process we just welcome him in the previous where we done, but here I will redirect him to the welcome page. How we can redirect? We can redirect by response dot send redirect. Okay, we have send redirect. In this argument you can give the file address where you want to send. Okay, I want to send him to the welcome page, welcome.jsp. Okay, so this is how you can navigate from one page to another page also. So from here, I want to send him to the welcome.jsp page. And as I said, I will discuss about the session management, right? So session management is used to store the value in certain variable. Okay, now I want to store this username and use that username uh, value in the welcome page. How I can use? I have to create the session. In the session, I need to set the value. So how can I set the value? Session dot set attribute. We have a set attribute. So in the first argument, you can give the name for this variable. Let me give that as a username. Okay. And just setting the value to this username. What is a value? The value is stored in the username. So I am giving that here. So whatever the value stored in the username, that will be stored in this username variable by setting the session. Okay, wherever you want that username, you can get that name by using this name to get that value by using the session attribute. Okay, if it is not equal, okay, if it is not equal, what we can do? We can directly print it out like this. Okay, this is one type. Okay, this is in the Java, so you can directly use in the strings of the HTML tags here invalid credentials. It's three. Okay, invalid credentials. Or you can also redirect him to the login page also by using anchor tags. Okay, so in whatever the HTML elements are there, you can write it in the println in the strings. Okay, like what is a anchor tag? This is an anchor tag, right? Okay, here you can give the address to that file. Okay, so here what I can give, I can give back to the login page. Back to the login. So what is a login page? Where is this? It is an advanced login. So what I can give, advanced login.jsp page. Okay, so if you entered invalid details, again it will show you to the go to the advanced login details. Okay, so this is how we deal with the else case. Okay, I think here I need to give a semicolon. Okay, so but when you have entered same usernames, it will go to the welcome.jsp file, which means here. Okay, here I use the session, right, to save my username. So how can I retrieve that by using that username? In my welcome file, okay, in my welcome file, I will remove this one second. Okay, in this my welcome file, okay, how I can retrieve my session value? Simple thing, that string store the username. Okay, let me take it as a u1. Okay, don't get confused. So you have set that value in the session, right? So you need to use a session dot, there you have set the value because you are setting the value to that username variable. Here what I need to get the value by using that variable, which means here I need to use session dot get attribute. Okay, get attribute, whatever the name you have given during the session setting, here I set the name and given the name, right? So by using this name you can retrieve the name here. Okay, this username. Okay, whatever the data is stored in this username, now it will be come into the u1. But here why it's giving me the error? Because see, cannot convert from object to the string. Basically it returns the object, so I need to convert this string. So I use the string of session dot get attribute, which will convert it the object into the string. Okay, so now whatever the username is there, it is stored in the u. Okay, it is stored in the u1. So now let me use that hello u1, hello u1. Okay, so now when I log in, when I try to log in now, see, I will go with each one of us. When I click on the advanced login, it will go to the advanced login. Okay, here it will ask for the username and the password, and I will enter the username and password and submit button. It will go to the admin login process. Now what we have in the admin login process, by using the scriptlet tags, we are retrieving the username and the password. Okay, we are using the username and the password. I just given random details which are nothing but admin and the 123. admin and the 123, admin and 123. So whatever the username entered by the user is equals to admin and the password is equals to 123. So then I will store the username in my session, and I will redirect this page to the welcome page. Okay, I will store the name of the username in the session by given name to that username. Okay, by using this set attribute method, we will set the data into particular variable. Now I will redirect him. If username and passwords are not equal, I will print him the message as invalid credentials, and I will give the link to back to the login. So again, he will go to the advanced login. So here you can write it as the outdoor printer, and also you can write the HTML code. Okay, let's try with again whatever the name we have used or stored in the session by using the session variable name. Okay, I can retrieve the data by using this name itself. So whatever the name you have given here, that name only works. Okay, here what I am doing in the string u1, I am getting, I am retrieving the value with whatever the stored in the username variable. Okay, so whatever the username is there, I am retrieving that and storing in the u1. Okay, that u1, now I am welcoming him with hello u1. Okay, by using the expression tag. This is expression tag, right? Which means scriptlet tags and equal to symbol, which means expression tag. Whatever the data is present in that u1, it will directly display on that client server. Okay, it will directly display to the client. Now go there and see, refresh this. Now here we have advanced login, right? So login on that and give some random details. Okay, and login. See what it's saying. It's saying as invalid credentials, back to the login button. So again, I will go to the back to the login, but it's showing not found. I think we given some wrong address. I think, yeah. Let me copy this address and go to the admin login process. Select this and give this. Okay, and by this, refresh here. Go back to the login. So see, welcome to the Aurora classes. This is by using the dynamic includes. Okay, we use the header and the footer in my page, and this is the advanced login page. Now I will give the correct details admin 123, and when I click on the submit button, see it's going to the welcome page. Okay, it is redirecting by using the response.send redirect I used, right, to redirect. Now it redirect to the welcome page, and it retrieved my username. And by using the expression tag, I displayed whatever the username is present in my u1. Okay, here it works, right? So that is how we use a session management when you want to store the data. Okay, when you want to store the data, you can use the session management. Okay, so same, you can invalidate that also when you logged out. Okay, so when you logged out, you can invalidate by using session.invalidate. So whatever the data is present in that session, you can remove all the session data. Okay, so then you can again log out, go to the login page. So by using dynamic includes, we use headers and tags. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about the showing number of list of the students. Okay, yesterday we have done with that also. Now what are the, yeah, that's it for the today's class. Okay, today's what we discuss in the today's in the Java, we discuss about do while. Okay, so to ensures it ensures execution at least once, and we also discuss about the for each. Okay, which simplifies the collection or what is that, collection or the arrays. Okay, iteration. And we discuss about the JSP session management, which means it maintains a user data across multiple pages. Okay, so not only in the welcome page, wherever you go in the multiple pages, it uses, you can get the data by using that session management variable name. Okay, and we discuss about the includes. Okay, dynamic includes, so it will reduce a duplication and loops also. In the previous class we discussed about the loops in the JSP handling, how to iterate through the array and display the names. Okay, so basically in the loops we didn't discuss about the real-time examples, maybe like in the do while loop. Okay, so at least once it will show the menu, right? So that is one type of real-time example in the do while. Okay, so this is about the today's class, guys. Thank you. And if you have any doubts regarding anything, you can ask me. Okay, and if everything is well, you can drop off from the class. And thank you. I will wait for 2 minutes. If you have any doubts, you can ping me in the WhatsApp, or sorry, you can ping me in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and you can explain your doubts. Okay, guys, thank you then.